afternoon and welcome to Crafters TV. Oh, you didn't, that was Michelle preparing for next week. You weren't supposed to see that. Wasn't Michelle wrong? Our camera went to the wrong one. She's giggling now. Right, we'll start again. Good afternoon and welcome to Crafters TV. As you can see up there, this is our creative craving show. We're doing all about your craft essentials. What craft essentials would you have if you could pick 10 items? I was given that challenge. I was given the challenge of picking my top 10, let's call them desert island wish list items, and as you can see in front of me are my 10 items. I've gone for tools. Obviously I'm saying papers, a lot of my glues and all the stamps and my dies are going to be extras. These are my 10 tools that I want. So what have I selected? Well, I had to start here. Let me pick this up. I had to start here. It wouldn't be a Crafters Companion show if I didn't start with my Ultimate Pro. This is where Crafters Companion began, and this is just carried on going. As I say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. This is a staple of our crafty world here at Crafters Companion. So I had to include, oops, that, it's open, let me lie that back down. Right, after that, I work in front of me. I picked my guillotine. I'd only have one if I had to have, but I've got your smaller one and your larger one. We're going to look at the advantages of each one as we look at them individually. So there is my next item. Then we're going to have some glass mats. So this is absolutely perfect, and I wouldn't be without it if I was doing my inking, if I was doing my blending and getting my gilding waxes out, if I want a palette to paint onto. Absolutely perfect. But then there are other times when I need my self-healing mats. Sorry, I forgot the word then. Absolutely, you need your self-healing mats. Let me turn those around so you can see them. There we go. I've got my small one, which is my 9 by 12, and I've got my large one, which is my 12 by 18. So a little bit smaller than my glass mat, as you can see just there. There we are. Perfect. Now, once I've done that, I need to start being able to craft. So I want my stamping platform, and this is what we've got here. The Crafters Companion stamping platform is absolutely perfect. You've got all of those squidgy little feet so that you can stamp and you can re-stamp with ease. Absolutely perfect. We're going to have a look at rotating stamp with those. But this is absolutely new to me, well, when I joined Crafters Companion, and something that I hesitated over for a while, I'll be honest with you. I was a little bit resistant, but now I have tried my rocker blocks. I absolutely love them, and I am a big advocate for your rocker blocks. If they scare you a little bit at first, please watch. We're going to have a go with these, and hopefully I'll take the mystique and maybe the fear out of these. So we've got the pack with the 2 large ones in, or we've got the pack with the 4 smaller ones in. So absolutely perfect if you want to stamp get perfect stamped images. Now, the next thing are my essential tools. So I've got my pokey tool. You get a pack of 2 in there. Absolutely essential. Picking up things, taking backs off tape, when you're die cutting, all of those things, you definitely need your pokey tool. And I love that Crafters Companion always give you 2 in a pack. Then we've got our craft knives. So we've got our regular blade and our swivel blade. And we'll just have a quick look. We're not going to spend a lot of time on these, but we're just going to have a quick look at these because they work brilliantly with my self-healing mat. So they are absolutely an essential pairing, but they're going to allow me to do so much more as well. Now, again, this was something I was introduced to when I joined Crafters Companion. I hadn't had them before, and these are the Crafters Companion scissors. Oh my goodness me. How can you get excited about scissors, I hear you say? Well, you can if you have the Crafters Companion scissors. They are unbelievable. So we've got the little snips, we have got the 6-inch scissors, and we've got the 9-inch scissors. Now, they're all got a coating on them, so that means your adhesives don't stick to them, and what I love is I like that noise. You guess, yeah, like my sound effects, really good, aren't they? The quality of these scissors are second to none. Now, they are brilliant in your craft room, but I know a lot of our crafters and a lot of our viewers and customers have more than one set because they might have a set in the kitchen, they'll have a set in the sewing room, they have them all over. Yeah, our Sarah uses them in the kitchen for cutting the fat off a bacon. I wonder which one she'd use. I reckon 6-inch, that would be perfect. Absolutely brilliant. So there are your scissors. Then we've got the tape pens. Now, we have got the full tape pen and we've got the dotty tape pen. So I'm going to show you why you need the two different ones, because they are different, the adhesive in them is different and they have different purposes. And then the final thing I have got on here are a bit of craft storage. I've got my tote bag and I've got my desk tote and everything else here. Now, I'm going to show you in a minute my craft tote. It doesn't, well, it does look like this, but it looks a little bit different, and I'm going to show you exactly why these are absolutely amazing and how much you can get in them. So I hope you like my Desert Island picks. So these are them. So let's have a look at who is with us this afternoon. I hope you're with us. Please jump on and say hello, because you've got our lovely Rachel sending the comments through to me. So far we've got Alison Soberman Miley says good morning. Wendy Myers from Oregon. We've got Pamela Greenidge, Mary Reno, we've got Olga, Thea says hoi hoi everyone, we've got Tammy, Pandacraft says she would have scissors, tacky glue, multi-purpose card, oh of course, Ultimate Pro, there we go, and a bone folder. Well, I would cheat there because I wouldn't use that as two, because you've got bone folder in your Ultimate Pro. You've also got your black ink pads. Your MIDI might not have electricity. Good thinking, I like that. Microfiber cloth, spare blade for Ultimate Pro Tool, Centura Pearl. There you go, those are the ones that she would do. Oh, right, you've seen me arrive over here. And then we've got Debbie saying, hi Corrine, the shows this weekend have been great. It's always good to review the basics, thank you. And we're going to go through lots of different things over the weeks. And then we've got Linda saying, hello everyone. She says, Corrine, you've been doing a fantastic job yesterday and today, thank you. No, thank you, Linda. I'm glad you're watching. Right, now, I'm going to put my iPad over there so I won't catch up with comments for a few minutes, because we're going to catch up with the Ultimate Pro. Here we go. Now, as I said, Ultimate Pro is where Crafter's Companion began. Ultimate Pro was the first product that Sarah created. She created this in her university bedroom with her dad's help. It is absolutely amazing. And I always say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It has lasted, it's got longevity. It hasn't needed to be changed. It's a really useful tool. And everybody that's got one absolutely loves it, but you've got to be using it. If you're using it, you will get so much out of it. Now, it is a multi-purpose tool. We've got our envelope makers on here. We've got our embossing lines that you can draw on to score. Always keep your handle over to the left-hand side. We'll talk about that. And then you've got all your scoring lines. I've got my scoring lines to make all my different card sizes, and we're going to have a look at that in a minute. Also, some embossing lines, and if we get a chance, we'll have a look. Now, if there's anything I miss out, please let me know. Then if we open it out inside, we've got this amazing work area. This hinge is magic. So you can have it open like that, or you can have it folded, and it folds flat whichever way you go. We've got our box making. If I turned it around this way, we've got our box lid and our box base, and then we've got some more embossing detail on there. And on the other side, we have got all of our templates to make our apertures as well. Now, if I open it out, let me try and do this nicely. If we open it out back like that, and then I open out into here, you can see I've got some extra tools. I've got my score, my ruler, I've got my embossing tools, my bow maker, and I've got my little blade as well. So how this works here is this will pop onto here. We can then pop that in there, and then we have, we can score through here. We can also let's put those back in there. We can take the blades out of here, we can take the bow maker out of here, and we can use those on that side. So we use our scoring tools on here, and we use our bow making sticks on there. So that's sort of a quick rundown of the features of our Ultimate Pro, but I think we need to have a look in a bit more detail. Right, so I have got some cardstock here. Where's all my cardstock gone? Where it is? Right, I've got it. Oh, it's right at the side of me. Absolutely at the side of me. So let's have a look at the first thing. I'm going to pop that round there. I'm going to put my clip back on so that it holds it tight. Now, the first thing that is absolutely brilliant with this is I can take a piece of cardstock. Oh, I've got a bit caught out there. There we are. I can take a piece of cardstock and I can create my card bases with it as well. So I've got a piece of A4, absolutely regular cardstock. Now, I just need to clarify one thing. This is the UK version of the Ultimate Pro. Now, you can get this in the USA as well, because a lot of our crafters like this. And the reason we have a difference is all of the markings on down here are based on UK paper sizes. So if you're in the US and you buy your paper from us in A4 dimensions, then you need the UK one. If you look on our website, there is also a US version where these have been adjusted to make them fit for US letter sizes as well. So please bear with me today. I mean, you're talking about the UK, but the US works in exactly the same way. So I can pop my cardstock on here, and when I pop this onto here like that, always working to the handle to the left-hand side, and then I come to here, and this says half fold A4. So if I score up like that, fold that over, I can always use the edge of my Ultimate Pro to work against, score down there, and I have got my perfect card blank. You can see, look at that, it matches absolutely perfectly. But if I've got some smaller cardstock, i.e. A5, which is half of my A4, I can pop it into here again, still working across to the left-hand side, half fold A5, I can go to there. I can also go to gatefold A5, and I can fold it to there, so I can fold over, and then I can fold back. And I know, look at that, absolute perfection. Now, imagine making that into a card. I then need to be able to turn it. I need an envelope to fit. Now, somewhere in here, hopefully, is my booklet that comes with it. We've just written UK on there just so that we don't get muddled, because we have them all in here. So this is your instruction booklet that comes with it, and it tells you everything you might need to do about your card making, all the different sizes. But more importantly, it tells you about envelope boxes as well. So if you are using, if you're wanting to make a card that's got some depth, we can do that on here. So I have got an A5 folded in half, a piece of cardstock. So what we've got here is, I need to find that. So there we go. We've got C6 envelope. So it says to fit an A6 card, which is A4 folded into quarters, or it's the same as A5 folded in half. So it says I need a piece of cardstock 21 by 21 centimetres, which I've got just here, as if by magic, and I'm going to use lines C and E. So I take my cardstock on here, and then I'm just going to pop this into here, and I'm going to pop it into here, go into there, and then it says I use, what did I say? I used C and E. So I'm going to take it on there, oops, put it on there first, pop it on there, and then I'm going to score down line C. So take it on the first side there, I'm going to turn it 180 degrees and then pop it onto C again. And then I'm going to spin it round, and then I'm going to do E. And you can see it's going to come just here. And then we're going to pop it round on here, and we're going to do E again. There we are. Right, so all we need to do now is we fold these up, and then these will then fold absolutely perfectly for us to make our envelopes. Just put that onto there, fold that over. I would then take some tape. I'm just going to do it for speed with my tape pen. I'm going to pop it just down the edges just here. Ran off the edge there, and that's going to pop straight up the edge just like that, and then this one's going to go just there, and then fold that one over. Oops, I've just unsticking it as I go. There we go. And then my card fits perfectly into my envelope, as you can see, like that. One other thing we want to quickly show you is you've also got your bow maker on here. So let me grab my little bow making tabs just so that I can show you how easy this is to do, and we can close it back up. Now I'm going to spin it round. You can make many different sizes, and I'm going to pop my pegs just in 2 random holes, just like that, and I'm going to take a piece of ribbon. So I'm going to take my ribbon, I'm going to take it round, and then I'm going to cross it over. So I'm going to take the piece that's underneath, across the top. Oops, there you go. Take the piece that's underneath, it's this one, go underneath, just there, and then to cut it. Let's start that again. Let's start that again with my bow maker. Right, take the ribbon round, cross it over, take the one on top underneath, that's what I was trying to say badly, and then wrap it round, and then we can tie a knot just in the top, just there, just like that. Oop, there we go, let's take it just there. And then when we slide this off, we have our absolutely just perfectly tied bow. So that's going to go, whoops, just on there, just like that. So we've got our little bow just there. So with our card blanks, our bows and our envelopes, these are some of the things you can do with your Ultimate Pro. There we are. So that was a really quick whiz through. So let me just put those away so we can, before we start looking at the next bit. Oops, there we are. Right, let's put those back into there. Always, what is it my stepdad always said to me? Tidy site is a safe site. Well, you haven't seen my craft room. He hasn't seen my craft room, I can tell you. Right, so let's move that out of the way. And as you saw when we were talking, we had a few craft mats on my list. So I think we should first have a look at our glass mat, because it's here in front of me. So there we go. So we've got our glass mat. Let me just get rid of some of, there we go. Just get rid of that sticky bit. Right, so let's have a look at our glass mat. It's absolutely perfect for any crafty table. Now your measurements in your inches are 18 inches by 12 inches, but you've got a little bit of extra. So officially it's 13 by 19 inches because you've got that extra little bit. Now, why do I need a glass mat? Obviously, it's the perfect surface to work on. It's smooth, it's wipeable, and it keeps everything in place. Now, I've got all my little measurements down here. So, you know, if we're crafting, I might take something up. Oh yeah, 5 by 5 inches. Perfect. If I want to see where I am, you know, oh, I've got something here. Oh yes, this is, there we go, A5 in size because it's half my A4. All of that is absolutely perfect. It's also really good when you're doing your, maybe you're wrapping ribbons around something so you can line it up and then you can use your grid lines, or if you're marking things out, absolutely perfectly. But more importantly, it's brilliant if I want to use as a palette. So here I have a little piece of card that I embossed, and what I can do is I can take my gilding waxes, I'm popping them on my glass mat. Make sure you use it before I do my embossing, gilding, pop that on, but I know I can come along and I can, look at that, clean it down. Oh, stuck on that little bit of tape, and everything will be perfectly clean. And the same applies if I want to do some inking. So I've got another one here, I've got a little bit of ink, I can go straight onto there. Oh, picked up a quick dry ink there, picked it up, pop it on like that, blend it onto my dauber, and away I go onto here. So it's the perfect palette, because no sooner have I finished that, then straight away we're back to being clean again. So we've got the perfect work area. Now this is absolutely perfect. The one last thing I want to show you is look at this as a palette. If you're working with your aqua pens, I can use this to put my ink down, popping that down here, getting these the right way around. I can use it as a mixing palette, I can use it as a carrier. It's entirely up to you. Popping those onto there, grabbing myself some water, little spritz of water, look at that, put it on there, and then I can mix as I need, pick up a bit more water, and then I can do my wash on my cardstock, picking that up as I need to go before I move over with my next colour, picking it up and doing another wash. Oh, how pretty is that? Really, really lovely. And all the time I know that when I've finished, I can clean it back up and I'm good to go. But how perfect is that? It's a perfect smooth surface. So those are just some of the things that you could be doing with your glass mat if you get one. Right, so the next one I want to look at is, or are, the self-healing mats. And I've got 2 sizes here. So this is a little bit greedy, having 2 in my desert island wish list. So you're going to have to choose one that you want. So what can I do with my self-healing mats? So they are absolutely perfect. So let's take one at a time. So the first one that I've got is a 12 by 18 cutting mat. Again, markings go up to 17 inches by 11 inches, but we've got that extra area. You don't have to put them onto glass mat, but it's just I've got one here. And the sort of things I can be doing is I can be taking my craft knife. I can use the markings on there as a guide. I don't even have to start on the card. I can come through, I can cut on here, and then I can go again if I need to. There we are. And I've cut away on here. And that now will self-heal. It won't mark, it won't leave any indentations. Don't worry about cleaning them down. I actually just really wet mine. Now, as soon as I've wet that down, I can't feel those indentations anymore. Now, that's perfect if you want to just use your original craft knife, but I might want to do something a little bit more fluid. So I might want to take my swizzle craft knife and do something a little bit more fancy. Now that means by doing it on here, my craft knife isn't slipping against the glass. It's actually, you know, it's going into there, but then it heals afterwards. So that's the reason why you might be wanting your self-healing mat. There we go. Right, so obviously your 9 by 12 is going to work in exactly the same way for your cutting and your scoring as well. Right, so let's now, I've got some more bits down here. Let's now have a, there we are, I've put them there. So let's now have a look at our guillotines. Again, I've been a little bit greedy here, and I've got my smaller and my larger guillotine. So I think we need to start with our larger guillotine. These are absolutely amazing. So we have the extendable arm on our large one. So actually I'm going to move my glass mat out of the way. Let's move that up here. There we go. So we want to make it go nice and level, so it was coming off my mat. So this is now allowing me to do measurements right up to 13 inches that way. Oh, put the foot back out. And then I can do my 12 inches down that way. So I have got some A3 card, and that's one of the piece sizes that people probably have the biggest problem with, finding a guillotine that's big enough to do. So you've got your lifting arm on there. Now that blade is very sharp. It's made out of hardened stainless steel, and so that means it's going to last. It's not going to blunt or wear out at all very quickly at all. And we've already mentioned it's got the extendable arm. It's when I put my paper in, so let's go down, let's do a nice unusual measurement. So I put my card nice and tight against the top. I then press down firmly on this safety cover. So this is even more important. How many times have you nearly caught your finger under a blade? That's not going to happen with this. Listen to that. Did you hear that crisp cut? Now this is one that's been used by the craft guests for a very long time. I'm going to take that to, let's go 8.5, just random measurements. So I've now been able to trim down my A3 into something a bit more manageable. But one of the other features of our guillotines is that you've also got a built-in scoreboard. So I can take this, and if I want to score, what did I say this was? 11. So half of that is 5.5. I just measure down there, and now that should, perfect, have scored at the halfway point, if that's what you want to do. So you've got so many features in here. So absolutely brilliant. And then let's bring this in to the smaller one. And then what you might want to do is start trimming down paper on here. So I can take this one in and then I can trim off bits. Now, you can trim off, let's see what I've trimmed. About, that wasn't bad guess, just over an inch. But if you need to fine tune, we can take it down, pressing firmly on my guard. Look at that. How small a piece are we doing there? And look at that, no feathering at all. Let's see if we can go even smaller than that. So say you're doing your mats and layers and you've just measured it out wrong. Look at that. You can take the smallest piece off and still have the perfect cut. But that's because that's how good our guillotines are. It's absolutely amazing. And you're not compromised at all by having the large or the small. So absolutely perfect. Right, I have been talking now, over 20 minutes. So I think we need to see who is with us. Gosh, we've got a lot of people here now joining us. So we have, let me see who we've got. Where did I get to? I got to Val Lloyd. So it says, hi Corrine and Michelle, because we saw a crafty sneak peek of Michelle there, and the crew. I think you've stretched the 10 items a bit, but I would need lots more. Just as well I'm not on a desert island. That's too funny. Thank you, Val. Corrine, says Lillian Kwok, we were talking about the swivel knife last night and how it's tricky to handle. Please can you show us the best way to use it? Well, I'll go over that again in a few minutes, but you saw a quick demo of that. Betty has been buying the Ultimate Pro. Congratulations, Betty. And she says, I can see where I'll need both the Imperial and the metric. If she's talking about the Ultimate Pro, I think she probably means the US and the UK versions. Brilliant. And Valerie says, I think the new weekend format is great. We get to learn things we may have forgotten and new things. Oh, thank you for saying I'm doing a good job. Sandra uses the bow maker all the time. Linda says, I have the Ultimate Pro, but I'm still learning how to use it. Well, hopefully our shows will help you. But I must say there is no better way to learn how to use the Ultimate Pro than to get it out. You've got to get that Ultimate Pro and keep using it. So Terry Anderson said, hello, Corrine, watching while making a candle from your inspiration on yesterday's shows. Oh, put a post on social media and tag me, Terry, please. I'd love to see. Betty Weaver says, I have the small guillotine on its way. I haven't liked any others I've tried, but hope I will love it. I'm sure you will, Betty. And Judy Jackson says, any tips for cutting straight? Her guillotine never does. Now, the only thing is, make sure your cardstock's butted up to the top, press firmly on the guard and press firmly, but not too fast, but firmly down on the blade. I think it's all about the firmness. If you go quite light, the card moves, the blade doesn't go down firmly, and that's when you start to get not straight cuts. In my opinion, anyway, Judy, that's what I think. Right, so the next thing I think we need to look at are the rocker blocks and the stamping platform. So we'll have a look at the two. We'll do some different stamping with each one, and hopefully I can show you why why they're all so different, and why I think possibly you're going to decide you need them both. So let's go back over to the other side. I'm going to take this bag with me, and I'm going to show you, let's say, a before and after. So there we go. Right, you're looking at just the two that we've got left behind. They're looking a bit sorry, aren't they? So let me put that one down there. Right, I have made it over to the other side, so I just need to clear off a few little pieces on here. I'm going to bring back my glass mat. There we go. And we can clear all of these out of the way, and we'll have another look at those craft knives in a few minutes. I've got some tape on here. I just need to get that off, and then there we are. Let's clear that down, and little bit of tape. So where are we? Let's get everything I need ready. Dropping everything. There, right, ink pads and rocker blocks. Now, I was a bit cheeky because I didn't put stamping mat in my wish list, but I'm going to use it anyway because you need to. Yeah. So, right, let's make sure I've got everything that I need. Okay, so shall we have a look at the rocker blocks first? And then we can go on and look at the stamping platform. So, rocker blocks. Let's have a look at what you can do with them. So I've got the 2 packs. These are already out. So you get 4 in the first pack. So you get, let me say, 6 by 4, 6 by 1 1/4, 4 by 3, 1 1/2 by 1. So these are perfect for you, you know, if you're doing things like snowflakes or little sentiments, you know, borders on the large ones, absolutely perfect. And then you've got your larger ones, which are 7 by 5 and 7 by 2.5. So that's half the width of there. Now, I have got a stamp here. Is that going to fit? Ooh, that's a bit snug. So let's get this one here. So I'm going to use my largest rocker block for now. Nice new pack of these. Aren't these gorgeous? Now, let me show you here. Can you see? This is why it's called rocker block. Can you see that is nicely curved? The plate isn't as curved as the rocker on here. So I've got a stamp. I've got my Welcome to the World stamp, and it's a beautiful, beautiful butterfly. But look at how much detail is on there. I need to go that way round. There we go. I'm just going to pop that in the middle. Look at the detail on there. Now, you might be a little bit, sort of, have a little bit of trepidation about using something like that, where I can't then go back in and line it up after the event because, you know, I've used a not used a stamping platform, you know, used a block. But I don't need to worry about this. So I have got some watercolour craft card. Again, not the easiest always to stamp onto, but I've also got my waterproof dye ink. So we're going to pop that over there. Now, I'm going to make sure I properly cover my stamp. That is really important. You can't blame the rocker block for not stamping properly if you've not inked your stamp up properly. So lots of little taps, don't drag, lots of little taps over the top. Make sure there's plenty of ink on there. Then I'm going to bring my card in. Now, it's entirely up to you which way you do this. I find it easier to work from the bottom because I'm going to rock that way. If you find it easier to rock that way, you do it that way. So I'm just going to pop this down. It's on my craft mat. And then I'm just going to press down there. And you can always come back, it just holds, so you can just see. Now, if this didn't have ink on, as much ink like this, you'd be able to see it squashing down. But when I then reveal, look at that. Absolutely perfect. I haven't got to go back in and try and touch it up. It's an absolute perfect image. That's why you need a rocker block, because you can do this type of stamping with one. So absolutely perfect. Okay, so I think we should now do a comparison with our stamping platform. So I'm going to move these out of the way. That was a rocker block. They don't break. I can promise you that. Right, so we have our stamping platform. So let me turn that round. So I think now, put that there. Now we should have a look at why you might need to use your stamping platform. Okay, so this is an 8x8 stamping platform you can see on there. So you can, you know, there's probably about as big as most images that you're likely to want to do. I'm going to do 2 different sorts of stamping on this now. So I'm going to put my first piece of cardstock on here. So I've got Neenah cardstock on here because I want to stamp something that I might want to colour up with my alcohol pens. And if you know Crafters Companion, you know that Neenah cardstock is the best for your alcohol pens. So I can pop that onto here. And then I can pop my mat over the plate over the top. I press down once and I pick up my cardstock. Now I'm just going to put the other magnet on. Now the magnets are holding that cardstock in place. I can turn it over. I can even use my stamping platform to rest my plate on. And then I just tap over the top with my ink. So again, I'm using my alcohol proof because we're doing something that would ultimately be coloured with our alcohol pens. I'm going to turn this back round. Did I have it that way round? No, I took it that way round. And then we can pop that on there. And then all I do, line it back up into the feet, and then I press down. If I wanted to let go, I can always go back down again as well. So it doesn't matter if you let go, and look at that, I've got the perfect image. Now what I've actually done is I have created a couple of little masks for this one, just so that I can show you quickly how you can line things back up. So that one goes that way around, there we go, you can see I've already stamped over here. So if you wanted to, I can then take that stamp off my platform. Let's find another one. Let's find another flower, and we can pop that on here. So we're creating depth and dimension, and I'll just pop a leaf coming out of there. So they're overlapping. Now, I know they're in the right place. I haven't had to worry about them. I can pick them up. I can do more than one stamp at any one time. We're not limited to one, because I know I've got perfect placement. Tap that over there. Make sure it inks up nicely. Now, the Crafter's Companion stamping platform has been a game changer for me. It's so easy to use. Look at that. So back into place. I know everything is where I want it to be. And then I press down so we can pop that on to there. Oh, now look at that. I've missed a little bit. Oh, you can even see the ink. So all I need to do, pop the ink back on. Anyone think I did that deliberately, and I actually didn't. There we go. Pop that down. Now I need to just make sure I go down straight, and if I go down straight, I can then, that was the bit I missed, line it back up. I'm perfect. Now, just to show you, just so that you can see how that looks, when I take that off, how about like that? That is what you can achieve with a stamping platform. Absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to show you one more quick way to use your stamping platform, just so that you can see why you might want to do this. So I've got another piece of card, and I'm going to pop this on here. So I'm going to make sure it's in the centre. So this piece of card, as you can see, is 6 inches square. So I've got an 8-inch platform, so I just need to put that in the centre. So I'm coming in by 1 inch, and I'm just going to put my magnets in the middle, just because I know the shape of my stamp. And I've got what we call a rotating stamp. Now this couldn't be done. You couldn't use a rotating stamp without a stamping platform. So I'm going to lay this over here, making sure I get it in the middle. There we go, pop that on there. I can even put different magnets just to make sure it holds it tight. So then, oops, get rid of my previous stamps off my platform. Nothing needs cleaning, it's ready to go. And then I can pick this up. So press that down, lift up, oh, come on. This one picked up the paper as well. Didn't want that to happen. There we go, right, there we go. Let me check it's still in the right place. Yes, it is. And then we can add on our inks. Now, there are, when you get your rotating stamps, there is colour guides, but I'm just going with my own colours on here. So I'm going to stamp with my first colour, and I'm going to take my platform, and I'm going to line up my sentiment just there, my brand name just there, so that I can remember where I'm going. So this is image 1. I always remember one of our presenters saying, when they saw this and they saw the first stamp, and they were like, ooh, but these are stamps where you've got to go all the way. Now look at that. So, so pretty. Now I leave my stamp on there, and I'm just going to clean that down a little bit. Let's just get that ink off. Ooh, let's just make sure, get that, I don't want to make it too wet. And then we can then go on there. Then I'm going to come in with a different colour. So let's come in with our parakeet. We can pop this onto here and pop that there. Now remember, we did it there before because my image lined up, so I'm going to turn it 90 degrees, and then we can pop it down and press. Now remember, if it comes up and you haven't stamped everywhere, you're just going to be able to press it back down. Look at that, starting to fill up. Absolutely gorgeous. Let's just keep working on that same theory. So I've taken that off. I'm actually going to get my cloth, because that'll be a better one. There we go, my cloth on there. There we are. That's going on there. So then let's get another colour. We're going to get a different blue. I'm going to pop that on here. that all the way round there. Now we just need to, we've got one, that's where we were last time, so we're going to turn it a second time round and pop onto there and lift up. Look at that. Oh, I've missed a little bit just there. Just need to go back down, and there we go. So the final colour we can do, and we can just add in those extra bits because we've got a stamping platform. That would have been so hard to have done on the rocker blocks. It's making sure you use the right tool for the right job. And you know, your rocker blocks work for one job and your stamping platforms work for a different one. Right, so let's put this so I know that is going to be my final rotation because my Crafter's Companion logo has moved down there. And then I can pop this down here. Now you've noticed I'm using my quick dry inks because I need them to be dry the minute they touch the cardstock so I can go in with the next colour. And then we've got that. Now look at that. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? And that's only achievable because of having a stamping platform. Isn't that brilliant? Right. Now, I've just seen a comment that's made me smile. Lynn Blackledge says, Corrine matches the Christmas tree. Now, that was a conversation Michelle and I had in the house when I was getting ready this morning. I actually said, oh, I'll wear my green dress because then I match the Christmas decorations. So there we are. So let's see where we got up to with comments. Lily of the Valley 1980 says 3/4 of my craft room is filled with Crafter's Companion tools, dies, stamps and papers, including the Ultimate Pro. 3/4 of your craft room, Lily of the Valley, you should come and see mine. That's all I'm going to say. Then we've got Elizabeth. She says, I have both of the Ultimate Pros and both Guillotine and love them. I'm so glad. You don't regret it, do you? It's hearing people say like that. I can wax lyrical all day long, but it's when you have paid your money for them and use them and then you come on and tell us. That's brilliant. Lynn says she's loving having these lessons. Thank you. Diane says loves the rocker blocks, and Lynn says love my stamping platform, but also use the rocker blocks. Barbara is saying great tips. And Rita says, my stamping platform is one of my favourite tools. There we go. Oh, Pamela says, first time seeing a rotating stamp. There you go. That's why, hopefully, these shows are going to be really good for you because we're going to start looking at things that perhaps you've not looked at so much before. Right, I'm just trying to make some space because I don't want to distract you from what I'm going to show you next. Let's try and clear a little bit of room. There we go. Let's go on there. Let's clear those. I might need that. Definitely need those. There we are. Right. So here we go. I think that should just about give us enough space. Let me move the iPad out of the room. Right. Now, I think we should have a look at the tote bag. I showed you it was on my list. This is on my crafty Desert Island wish list. I couldn't manage without my tote bag. Shall I show you something? I was told that I asked if I could bring mine in to show you during the show. Lovely empty craft tote bag, and we're going to talk in just a minute about what all the pockets and all the bit. But that is mine. Did you hear that hit the table? There you go. Look at that. Look at how much, I'm just using that, how much I have got in my tote bag. Absolutely loads. I use every little space. I even use the edge of the pockets for my clips. I've got all my tools I want on there. The way the pockets are designed, I don't worry that those bits are going to fall out. I've got pockets down here that zip for more secure items. I've got dividers in the centre so that my pens are separated for my tapes. Absolutely everything that you need. So here is my empty tote bag. Let's have a look at how much, the capacity, how much you're going to be able to put in here. So now, first of all, the internal bit. You've got dividers that will come out. So if you've got something a little bit larger, say you want to put your Gemini Midi in there, or your Gemini Mini, you can take some of the dividers out, which I absolutely love. But if you don't, you can put the dividers in so that you can separate all your items together. You've got loads of little pockets on the side. So you've got 2 on either end. Then you've got 3 down here. Now, I just need to talk about the workmanship behind this machine. Oh, don't forget, you've got like a little secret pocket there. I always forget about that one. The workmanship in these bags is second to none. Everything is double stitched. You've got the binding around the edges. So I know that this isn't going to go saggy. It's not going to extend. It can't extend because it's all bound. So these pockets aren't going to sag and all my bits fall out of there. Then on the opposite side, I've also got, oh, other way around, I've got my zipped pocket so I can keep all my extra bits in. If you're going to a crafty workshop or going out crafting, maybe that's where you put your money, your keys and your phone. It's up to you. I just haven't got room in mine. And then the last bit I love is the side of the handles. So even when I've got quite a bit in here, I can fit, let me see, I can fit A4 paper cardstock in there and still get my arm through there without causing it to wrinkle. So it's absolutely essential. I need to know where my items are. I can, when I'm doing my shows, I can reach down, I can go pencil in there, glues in there, pokey tools in there. I know where everything is. You pay a lot of money for your crafty tools, so keep them safe and well organised, and there's no better way than getting a tote bag like this. Right, so what am I going to put into my tote bag? I'm going to be putting things like my scissors. So I've got all 3. I couldn't have one size of my scissors. So let's have a look at the scissors and which ones you want. Are you going to go for all 3 or are you just going to go for one size? Now, I love these scissors. They're coated scissors and they cut second to none. They're ergonomically designed so they fit perfectly in your hand. And you've also got your markings on the blade. So if I want to do let's do a 1.5 inch snip, I can put my paper in at 1.5 inches and then I can snip like that. Can you hear the cut? I'm just going to do another cut. I'm doing. Oh, the sound of these. Hope you can hear that. I'm going to come up to it. I'm going to listen to that. Absolutely amazing. Now, everyone says, which size scissors do I need? So I find that these are one of my go-to size scissors. You find your medium scissors are absolutely perfect if you just want to do a quick little snip, but then you've also got your snips. Now, I want to just show you that your snips are sharp right to the very end. Can you see that? I don't think I can go much smaller than that. I don't have to use the whole blade. I can just use the very, very end. Now, how many pairs of scissors have you got where you have to cut like this? You can't cut like that. And that is what you get with Crafter's Companion scissors, cutting all the way. Now, this is a really emotive subject. What size scissors do you use to fussy cut? Now, I use large scissors. Our lovely Craig, who'll be here very shortly, uses his snips. There is not a right and a wrong way. You need to practice with your scissors and work out which works for you. All I would say is, if you look, I don't know if our lovely cameraman can show you, because you see me front on. When I am cutting, I keep this arm straight and I keep it anchored into my body. I keep my elbow tucked in and I just open and close my scissors with that hand. I don't actually move my scissors. I move my cardstock and that helps me to get the perfect cut. But because they've got that non-stick coating, the paper just glides through if I need to move it round. Can you see? Now, as I said, I like the large scissors, But if you would rather cut with the smaller scissors, you can do that. I find that I would then probably come up, look at that, the cut is absolutely perfect. You can come round on that detail. I think our Lily uses the small scissors too, but a couple of us use the larger scissors as a rule. So this might not be as good because I'm used to using the bigger scissors. But whichever scissors I'm using, I try to use as much of the blade as I can, because you're going to get a much smoother cut. If you cut with the whole blade like that, it's a much smoother finish than if I was to cut like that and like that. Can you see, if I start to cut like that, it's a bit wonky, a bit more jagged. But if I can do nice smooth cuts where I'm using my scissors to do the cutting for me, then it's going to give me a better finish. So let's just finish that one just quickly to show you how you can do it. Absolutely, you know, they're sharp scissors. I know I'm getting the perfect cut. I'm not wasting time. I'm not getting sore hands. Everything, your tools should work for you. You shouldn't be working for your tools. And that is why I like to have all three of my Crafter's Companion scissors. Okay, so I'm going to put those into my tote bag. There we go. Whilst we get ready to look at our tape pens. So let's have a look at our tape pens. Why do you need your tape pens, and why do you need the two different tape pens? I'm going to turn it that way around. We have Dotty tape pens by the Dotty logo and our solid tape pens. Now, I'm not going to lie, when these were being developed, our Leanne looked at 21 different tapes before she settled on one tape to go in there, till she found one that was good enough for her. Oh, let's move that out of the way, you don't need to see that. Right, so what you can do with this is brilliant. These are brilliant for wrapping parcels, for box making, for anything you want. The glue in here is the strongest glue on the market in tape pen format. So you can come right up to the edge and just put your glue on there. Now, I could be adding my gilding flakes, I could be adding my glitters, I could be attaching ribbons, I can be attaching all sorts with these. But I could also come round and do rounded designs if I had a circle that I wanted to stick to. Now, I'm sticking onto Miri card, which is notoriously difficult to stick to. It's got a little bit of time to re-stick, but I can pop that on to there and stick that down, and that is so well stuck down. But if I now wanted to stick my doily onto there, I don't want to use my solid tape pen, because what will happen is when I go over the doily, I'll get solid tape across the middle. So what I need to do, and I'm going to pop it onto a piece of tape, just on a piece of card so it doesn't go onto my craft mat. What I need to do is I get my Dotty tape pen and nice light strokes I'm coming across my cardstock. But what you'll find is when we've finished, lighter is better. When I turn this over, you don't get big glue strings showing through. The glue, because it's in dot form, has only stuck to the cardstock and hasn't come through. So then, when we want to put this onto our mats and layers, you can see it sticks absolutely perfectly without any glue showing through. And that's why you should use the right glue pen. Absolutely perfect. Right, I think we only have a couple of things left to show you. Now, let's have a look at the pokey tool. This is absolutely vital for your craft room. Now, you're going to get 2 in every pack when you get them, and they come with the stoppers on either end, one end pulled off. And I haven't got my die with me, but when you are crafting with your dies, they're perfect for picking your dies, your cardstock out of your dies. They're perfect for if I was to get my red liner tape or any of my tape and pop it onto the back here. Oh, let's grab my scissors. If I needed to lift off the back of my tape, comes off perfectly. If I wanted to put some foam pads on the back of here, I can lift them off the carrier sheet using my pokey tool, and then all I need to do, stab through there, and the backs are off my off the back of my foam pads. It's not an exciting tool, it's a tool that's going to make your crafting easier. So what we want to get on with the fun bits of crafting, and by having the right tools, and a pokey tool is definitely one of those, it allows you to get on with the crafting that you want to do. So the final thing, and we've touched on them briefly, is our swivel knives. So let me bring in some cardstock. There we go. And as we said earlier, your swivel knives are absolutely perfect for doing your cutting. Let's start by looking at the swivel knife. So this is really, really clever. So we can use this one. I didn't really understand this one until I took a closer look at it. Now, if you see this blade, I just want to show you, I can hold the blade, look, and I can turn the handle. Can you see the blade staying still and the handle turns? This means that I can cut round. Let's say I want to cut a butterfly out. Ooh, my crafting skill, my knife skills aren't as good as some. We can cut out on here, and we can then, I'm going to have to turn it round. We can then, I'm right-handed, cut out like that, and then we can come round. Can you see? We can. This is a very dubious butterfly, but we can then cut round on here, and we can even go back in where we've missed. Now, this is like a triangle, so it sits perfectly in the palm of your hand, and we can pop that back on there. We can go back, go back into the lines. I'm going on new lines now. There we go. But you can see how I've been able to go round circles. I've been able to go round curved edges. There we go. You can see on there. Let's just do one more on here, like this, look. There we go, I can press much harder on there. Take that, and then, there we go. That's much better to show you. So that is why you need the swivel knife, so that you can go round. Now, the straight-edged knife is a perfect accompaniment. Why would you need the straight-edged knife? So this is so that you can then start to cut more structured lines. So I can come off here, and I'm using my ruler, and I'm using my, I should use that side really, shouldn't I? Let's use that side with the metal edge, and that's going to allow me to cut up to there. Now, I just went off my craft mat, so I can come back in here and catch back up just there. Oop. And if you've missed a little bit, like I have done, I'm going to come back in. If I turn my mat round that way, I can get the whole thing on in one go. There we are. Perfect. All the way down, I can feel that's in the groove. That's better. And we can cut it like that. Now, one of the other things I quickly wanted to show you is if you have got a scoreboard, you can even bring your scoreboard in and use that. I'm using my sharp one knife. I can even bring my scoreboard in to use to trim along here. So you can do. Now, one of the top tips I would say for using your craft knife is to do smaller cuts. Oops, I'm doing it. Gentler cuts. Do it multiple cuts and you'll get a better cut. Don't try and press too hard in one go. Smaller, softer cuts will give you a better finish. And that is why you also need a craft knife. Well, I am out of breath after all that. I have gone through all of my top tips. So there we go. So we can have a look. Oh, I'm catching on my mic. There we go. Right. Let's have a look at what you've all been saying. Lind agrees that she loves the stamping platform but also uses her rocker blocks. Barbara says, great tips, thank you. Oh, I think I might have seen some of those. Pamela said it was the first time using the rotating stamp, seeing it. Rachel, who's on our social, says she uses her tote bag for storing baby bits at the moment. Exactly. It doesn't have to be a craft bag if you don't want to. Yolanda loves the bag. Pamela says, wow, that tote bag is a must-have. Leslie says, I think it's great that you're showing how all these tools work. It's been helpful. Lynn Blackman says, I have the big and the little scissors. Now I need the middle scissors. Oh, poor little middle scissors. What have they done wrong? Why are they missing out? Michelle uses the huge sewing ones. Linda fussy cuts with the snips. And wow, that is all of the comments, and that's all of our time gone. That's just absolutely flown. Now, I am not going to be on my own for the next show today. I am going to have the lovely Craig with me. Hopefully he should be here any minute now. And we have got our Second Chance Sunday show. So if you've missed any shows this week, or you've been sitting on the fence about any products you've seen this week, we have got the most amazing deals, some fab prices. We've got new items that were only launched this week. We've got crafty goodie bags. We've got it all. There is so much stuff. I'm going to have half the products. Craig's going to be over the other side and he's going to have the other half of the products. And we're just going to show you everything from this week in our Second Chance Sunday. So it's a show not to be missed. And I'm going to have a whale of a time with my very special friend Craig joining me. So it's going to be lovely to have someone else here as well. So I hope you can join us. I hope you can be back at 6 p.m. tonight. So that is 1 p.m. East Coast time, and it'll be lovely to have you with us. Now, I'm off to go and get all of this ink off my hands so that I am halfway decent, ready for you at 6 p.m. So until then, have a lovely afternoon, keep safe, and I'll see you in a couple of hours. Goodbye.